Hello, and welcome to the Kosh Podcast. I am your host, Timber Smith, and I just want to apologize for last week. I didn't get a chance to make a podcast, as you all have been knowing, as you've been listening to the Kosh. We've been going through a remodel, and as we've gone through this remodel, I have lost my studio. Yes. The young lady, a.k.a. my daughter, a.k.a. Boo for those who know, has moved back into my crib. So I have lost my studio, and now I have had to move the studio. So I've got a new recording space that I'm trying this from. And once again, as I always tell you week after week, I am super excited about who I have as a guest this week. This week's guest is Sherry Nedens. Sherry, how are you doing out there?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm doing pretty good.
All right. And the other thing I'm really excited about this week's episode is because this is the first time we're doing an episode remotely. So normally we are in the studio together looking at each other, but this time we are actually looking at each other over some, what I will say is phone, computer / iPad devices. So how you feeling this morning again?
I'm feeling great.
Good
to talk to you. That's always a good morning.
I agree. Talking to me is a good morning. No, I'm just playing. So, all right, you ready to jump in?
Definitely.
Okay, so Sherry, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what is your connection to the Kosh?
A little bit about myself. So I moved to the Kosh in 93. I think I met you in the Kosh in 94.
Bruh.
And we've been twinning ever since.
We'll have to get into that later.
Yeah. I started my undergraduate there. You pushed me into going for my graduate there. And now I am a triple Titan and I'm working at Oshkosh, UWO. So, yeah, I am deeply intertwined with Oshkosh.
Yes. Where are you originally from?
Kewaskum, outside of West Bend.
Kewaskum, that's one of those words that when people see it spelled out, they're like, what in the world? And how do you say that?
It's definitely Native American. Yeah, Kewaskum. I actually grew outside of Kewaskum, outside of a unincorporated village, Newfane. And so, yeah, I'm a little country bumpkin.
Wow. So first of all, I'm going to guess that Kewaskum is not that big. And so you actually are from a place smaller than even the place that's not that big.
Correct. Yeah. And I'm outside of a place not even that big. It's unincorporated. So, yeah, it's tiny. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You ready to jump into segment 1?
Definitely.
All right. First segment for today is what in the world is going on with? And that is where you start off with the phrase, what in the world is going on with? And you end with whatever's going on your mind. So what's going on?
Oh, my gosh. What in the world is going on with? I could take this in so many different directions, but I just feel like the world has gone a little crazy the last couple of years. So,
facts.
With the whole pandemic and everything, I don't know if I gave some people more credit than what I should have, but I just kind of thought society was a little bit more advanced than what I saw.
You thought we would have handled it a little better?
I was hoping.
That's kind of true. Like, I would have thought that when the things hit the fan, right? Because I'll be the first to admit, when it kind of all was going down, right? I was slow on the concept that I thought this would come and go. Like I thought maybe, a month, maybe a month and a half, maybe even 2 months, right? But I was thinking
a lot of people were hoping that.
yeah, and I'll be the first to say I didn't know what I didn't know, but I thought it was kind of gonna roar in and then kind of wave out really quickly. But as we can tell, that is not the case. But I'm with you. I thought we as society might have been a little more caring towards each other.
Yeah. Yep. It was really disheartening to see what all pursued, during the course of that time. Just everything from, well, I think, social isolation had a lot to do with it. And the more we isolated ourselves for health benefits, right, the more I think we were also hurting ourselves too. I don't know.
I do think
just mentally, for sure.
Absolutely. I don't think we understood the importance of our social connections on that level until they were taken away from us.
Mm-hmm. That's something I've always understood and tried to foster, a sense of community, both for myself, for my family, friends, even on campus. I started a student organization. I realized the importance of our connections and relationships and how that keeps us in a healthy mindset. And so over this last year or so, just people kind of losing sight of each other and what we mean to each other and what we can do for each other. I'm hoping we've learned some lessons from it.
I hope so. And as you would say, you were surprised by the way that we as society reacted. What I will also say is, while it showed some of our worst, it also showed some of our best, right? There's some real heroes that came out of this. And
oh, very true. Very true.
Those who stepped up and went beyond to help take care of others and each other and guide us and lead the way and be transformative and inventive in keeping the world, or keeping at least our nation, moving forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the university did a pretty good job of that too. Who was it that said we had to approach our careers and how we're moving forward more as being a chef instead of a baker, right? Because you have to be creative. You gotta use what you got and make the best of it.
I like that analogy. I didn't hear that one, but I'm feeling that. You got to use what's in the fridge and make something. You still got to be tasty though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my specialty, I think.
Oh, well, we're going to have to talk about that. All right. So my what in the world is going on with is what in the world is going on with the fact that I now feel guilty when I don't have my mask on, right? Like everything, we've gotten the word when, if you've been vaccinated, I've definitely taken care of that, like the first chance I got. And the rules are starting to shed and you don't have to go and wear masks places. But why is it when I go to places, I have been programmed now that it feels funky not to wear my mask? In my workplace, that we had a rule, you had to wear a mask at all times except for in your own office. And so I find now, every time I get ready to leave my office and I feel some kind of way about not wearing a mask outside of my office, and it's going to take some readjusting and reprogramming. Now, that being said, I'm not saying that I am not super happy to be headed towards this path maskless, but it's definitely it's a feel, right?
Well, I haven't had that same experience. I didn't even know that campus you could be without a mask because I haven't been on campus much. So yeah, I don't have that same feel or that same, just because I guess I've been held up at home more with my children, so I haven't had to wear a mask as much, like with you going into the university. But I remember at one point you had said that you actually like to wear it.
Oh,
kind of like the anonymity of it or something.
Hey, look, there's something to be said for that too. And but I will say, yes, there was a recent message that came out from our leadership that if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask on campus any longer. But that being said, what I like now is you'd be surprised how powerful it is to see someone's face again.
Oh, I know.
Like,
yep.
to just see their face, and you've been looking at them in a mask for how many ever months, and like you get used to you kind of, some people that couldn't recognize right away, but now you know people by their walk or their hair or maybe even their style of clothing. But now, just to get back to seeing faces and seeing smiles, like it's almost like infectious. Like you can't not run into somebody who's maskless and they smile and you know why you're smiling because you're all thinking, oh my God, I can see your smile. So like it's totally a thing. And it feels really good.
Due to mirror neurons, right? We have these mirror neurons, which help us be empathetic. So when we see someone react a certain way or feel a certain way, then we feel the same. And actually, with you saying that, as far as like seeing smiles and catching that energy again, yeah, I started some photography just to try to create some smiles, and some joy, and to capture those, and to get energized by that, because I missed smiles so much. Yeah.
Right? The power of the smile. Like you don't like they always say, you don't know what you're missing until it's gone, and then it's gone, and you're like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Ready to jump into word associations? Oh, that's a nervous laugh. I don't even know how to feel about that.
Well, you and I have known each other a minute, so I'm just a little bit fearful of where this could go. Oh. But yeah, let's go.
All right.
I'm not nervous. I'm excited.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, first word, food.
Food, okay.
Yeah. What comes to mind?
What comes to mind?
Yeah.
Tea.
Tea. Tea. Do we have a favorite? Well, do we have a favorite tea?
No. We're not going to go there. Saved by the Bell.
Yes. All right. So, favorite tea? Any kind of tea we like in particular?
Okay, so no, it's not about favorites. Just you had said food, and the first thing to come to mind was tea, because you had kind of sprung this interview on me this morning, and I'm like, well, I'm a little, little under the weather. I kind of sound a little rough, and you're like, just drink some tea with honey, you'll feel fine.
Oh, well, yeah.
And yeah, so then that made me jump to the tea set that I gave you that you were gifted.
Yeah, there's a story behind that. People out there in the Kosh land, there was definitely a gifting of a tea set at one point in time.
But the craziest thing about that tea set, let me just go back in time, because I had that tea set back in the day when I knew you, like when we were kids, and I just, when I moved, I ended up giving it to Goodwill, and somehow I was at a resale shop with my daughter decades later, and it appeared, and it's this handmade pottery tea set that's, it has a signature, so I know it's not just like a duplicate somewhere. And yeah, so I'm like, it's meant to be. I bought it, and then same thing. I was like, not really practical, so I gave it to you.
Now, I will tell you.
Okay, you'll take it from there.
Well, I'll tell you exactly why I regifted. At the time, and you gifted it to me at a really good time because I was really into tea, right? So I was into tea. And I was like, oh, and I was kind of, I had a couple of really nice decorative tea things going on, but I was drinking tea because I was trying to do that thing that people talk about called getting healthy. And, but what ended up, but then I bought too many tea sets, right? And I had like different sizes and so then I was like, oh, now the thing is, like anything, when you're really into something, you start talking to other people about it, right? So I'm having this conversation with an individual, and I'm like, okay, so, and they're like, oh, I love tea. And I was like, oh, yeah? And they were like, I really wish I had and I was like, oh, well, you know what? Let me. And so it was given to someone who I respect and got love for with and
I appreciate that. But the funny thing, okay, so this is talking about synchronicities and just how crazy and small the world is sometimes. But yeah, so the tea set was actually supposed to be a donation to the Veterans Coffee Tea Cart thing, not your personal. But anyways, love you.
I didn't. All right, I missed that part of it when you gave it to me.
But yeah, no, I got to meet the individual who you had regifted it to, and she had invited me to her office, once she had it all set up. And yeah, it was rather interesting that happened. It was my tea set.
Did they serve you tea?
Yep.
Yeah, see? And the world is a happier place.
I know. And the crazy thing is that person ended up in, not that I've ever even known that person before, but that person ended up in my same, like, outside of the same unincorporated little village I grew up in.
Bruh.
So, circumvent all the way back.
You know what? The Kosh works like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ready for the next word?
Sure.
Cocktail, beer.
Cocktail.
For sure. What do we like?
Ooh, almost anything.
Oh, no. See.
Gin and tonics for sure.
Okay.
Whiskey old fashioned sweets.
Oh, how Wisconsin of you.
Yeah, I know. But they're everywhere. You can order. I was just in Nashville and I ordered a whiskey old fashioned sweet, and I looked over and so did the couple next to me that were from another state. So yeah. It's not just, but it is known as a Wisconsin drink for sure.
Oh yeah, hands down. What that tells me, look, let's be honest, when you go most places nationally and you say old fashioned, they're going to look at you with a question mark on their face. They have no idea what that is. But if they've had enough Wisconsin in there, they know. True. Or if they have really good whiskeys, because I'm going to say that at that point, someone is requested also. Okay. Netflix.
Ooh, what about Netflix?
Word association.
I don't know. I haven't been watching much TV. The only thing with Netflix, I guess, lately is I had my students watch The Mind Explained. It's a series on Netflix that I find fascinating on both. There's 4 or 5 different ones on memory, mindfulness, dreams, that type of thing. So
I've watched it. I've watched that one. It's pretty good.
yeah.
Not too bad. Is there anything else you're streaming at this time at all on other?
Not right now. It's summer. There's a lot more interesting things outside to look at.
So are you saying like you actually don't stare at the TV? You're kicking it outside.
I don't.
And doing the thing.
Yeah. Especially now, if I'm staring at a monitor or TV, it's either work or editing photos.
Okay. Amazon.
I wish they would stop coming here.
So are you saying you wish you would stop ordering things?
No. Because this is not on me. This is my husband. My husband, over the pandemic, started building a boat, and like every day, you would be amazed at what you can order on Amazon. But he's basically built a boat off of Amazon. So yeah.
Oh, I'm not. Look, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not amazed by it because I done found some very obscure things. Like when you think, oh, you know what? I wish someone would sell this little part of this, and then all of a sudden, guess what? They sell that little part of this, and I'll be like, oh, this is cool. So I can fix this thing, or rebuild this thing. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool that anything you can think of that you need, you can order, and it can show up on your door in a day or two. Yeah, but it's also a little dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Not on my part. I've been good.
All right, fair enough. All right.
I gotta go back. Because my son was not so good. He ordered a $700 Nerf gun.
Wait, repeat that. A 7?
Bruh.
There's such a thing as a $700 Nerf gun? What do you get for $700 as a Nerf gun?
It's battery, it has a control. It's control operated. It's like this. I don't know. I don't think any Nerf guns were $700, but it has a scope on it. It has all kinds of stuff, but obviously we didn't keep it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hope.
All of a sudden, I saw a few orders. I'm like, I must have got to my phone, and then when I saw the $680 some, I'm like, oh boy, we couldn't cancel that one, so we had to wait to have it delivered before we could send it back.
Now, you know what? I'm super curious because now I'm going to have to research. What do you get for $700?
I will send you a picture of it.
I'm just curious because that just seems like a whole lot of like you should be able to outfit an entire classroom for $700 in Nerf guns, but that just
a whole classroom. I'm pretty sure Nerf guns aren't allowed in classrooms right now.
Oh. Facts. See, that just goes to show. Yeah. I'm, once again,
You're not there.
I'm empty nesting in life. I'm empty nesting in life.
I only know this because my son Noah, who has Down syndrome, he did get one of his Nerf guns hidden away in his backpack, took it to school, and it's sitting in the office. So it's not the $700 Nerf gun, but.
Oh, and he got sent to the office.
Mm-hmm.
These things happen.
Yep.
All right. Summer.
Barefoot.
Yeah, is that what it's about?
Running through the grass barefoot. soaking up the vitamin D. I love water. I love swimming. I love all things about summer.
Me too, but I tell you, so far I've been semi disappointed with the weather because it feels like it's got a hint of like we get little tastes of summer, but then it's like we're still getting smacked in the face with what I would call some substantial spring. That's still a little chilly here
Cold.
and there, and rainy, and I'm all for it, but let's just get to the summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. It was a shot coming back from Nashville, and then all of a sudden it dropped to 50 here or something. It was just like, whoa. Okay. Yep. Onward.
Neurodiversity.
Celebrate.
Elaborate.
So, what is university? What does that mean?
To me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. University. What does it mean to me? Personally, I would take it as an educational forum, a place where education happens and community happens and growth happens. That, kind of rounding it out broadly and generally without going too specifically. A place where growth happens because growth is education.
I agree with that. So una means one, right? One thought. University, like one thought. Neurodiversity is it's having different ways of thinking, different perceptions, different strengths, different things that gifts in ourselves. So I don't know. Neurodiversity is just basically, it's a concept that originally those with autism claimed as a way of, hey, I think differently. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It's just different. And while some people think of maybe autism as something that is a negative, it can also be a gift, a strength. I've worked with individuals with different abilities throughout my entire life, since grade school. And I've seen people with autism who have exceptional gifts and talents and abilities, who can sing in over 100 languages, or who can put 1,000-piece puzzle together in a matter of seconds. It's just like spatial recognition and just different strengths that people have. Well, then neurodiversity expanded more so to include those not just with autism, but with all different ways of learning and thinking, such as dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, ADD. And really, I would argue that all of us have neurodiversity. We all have different ways of thinking, all have different experiences that have made us who we are, and have shaped how we perceive the world around us, and how we choose to continue to perceive and conceptualize that world. So anyways, neurodiversity. I celebrate it because I love how we all have different gifts that we can bring to the table.
I agree with that. Okay.
So a university is a place to come and learn and grow, but diversity is where that spreads to different ways of thinking, and neurodiversity is even a greater, I don't know, I think it just encapsulates it all, in my opinion.
Fair enough. All right. Ready for the next segment?
Sure.
Okay. So these are the new segments we've been trying out that were given to us by one of my guests. Thank you, Brenda, for these new segment ideas. I love them. Okay, so this one is called the Kosh Hidden Gems. All right. So what is a hidden gem that you appreciate in the Kosh?
A hidden gem.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's so hidden, but I think my favorite part of Oshkosh is Menominee Park.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you live close by that.
Hey, look, that's my dog walking sanctuary. That is where I like to take my dog almost every morning. Me and Bosco, we go. I walk the lake line. It's just a good vibe in that park. Like it makes me
It
happy.
always has. Yep. Same. Yeah. I used to I'd try to get there daily at some points when I lived in Oshkosh. But yeah, I lived not too far from there, and I used to rollerblade through it, walk through it, bike through it. Yeah. Love Menominee Park.
I'll be the first to say, I've lived in this, what I would call the east side of Oshkosh for almost the entire time that I've lived in the Kosh. And I never took advantage of that park until like more recently. Like I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, one day it just dawned on me and said, you know what? There's a lot of people that pay a lot of money to live near things like this beautiful park that's on all this water, and it's super just tranquil and has a great path through it. And I started walking it and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that I've lived here like over 20 years and I didn't take advantage of this park. And
we used to live across the street from each other, just down the road from that park. You're telling me you never enjoyed it back then?
Nope. Nope, I didn't. I was.
So all the times when Lottie and I were rollerblading down to the park, you were holed up in your apartment.
Yeah, pretty much. I was
studying.
Yep.
Getting the grades.
Well, I'm not gonna lie about that one, but what I will say is that I was preoccupied in the mind, and maybe what I'll really just say is I wasn't mature enough to understand or appreciate those kinds of things at that point. So, all right. Next segment. What does the Kosh need?
What does the Kosh need?
Yeah.
Whew. What does it need? I don't know. It does a pretty good job of, like, it has good diversity.
Well, we're working on that.
I think, yeah. Well, I mean,
we're working on
compared to the surrounding areas.
The Kosh is definitely in my time period has grown by leaps and bounds, and I think that the city has also done a fairly decent job in growing with its diversity at this time.
Mm-hmm. What does it need? The only thing, I don't remember Oshkosh. I don't remember as much crime when we were younger as what I see now. Maybe it's just the news, and maybe it's just because everything is out there. But I just heard that there's another shooting near Oshkosh a couple days ago, or in Oshkosh on Cherry Street, was it, or someplace like that? I don't know, but it just seems like there's more crime. So, if anything, I think Oshkosh needs. I don't know. What do you think? What would you say to that?
What I would say is that I'm always careful about making evaluations on today versus the past, because we we have an onslaught of incoming data coming towards us, and we didn't used to, right? So I always think, I don't think that there's more of anything today. I just think we're more informed today. There's the difference.
I believe that. I
You know,
do.
because I
And like I
think
said, yeah.
I think things were always happening, but if you don't have the social media telling you it every 30 minutes or so, or having those kind of links, right? Because how did you find out your news back in the day?
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
I
I didn't have a phone popping up, news briefs.
right.
But okay, I just thought of something.
Okay.
Oshkosh needs Sawdust Days to come back.
Oh, that's
There you go.
interesting.
Yep. I
Okay.
loved Sawdust Days,
Did
and then
you?
they messed it up. Hmm.
I I never really went to it. I mean,
Again, it's
I
another one of those things that you live right there
well,
and
people.
you
I mean,
didn't get to experience. So, one thing about Sawdust Days that I loved that set it apart from other festivals, carnivals, is it truly had like different areas of like you could go to this one area and get Indian food or Mexican food, or like it just was a very diverse and had a lot of different little areas to explore.
I mean, I'm not saying I never went to it, because of course I did. There was food there.
There's
So
really good food there, all
right.
kinds of food,
And so, I
different
mean, I've
cultural
definitely
foods.
gone through, but I mean, I never,
Hmm.
I probably went on a handful of rides. We used to take my daughter there when she was younger. I mean, it was a good event. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just wasn't, I personally preferred our county fair to Sawdust Days strictly on affordability.
Mm.
Because Sawdust Days was a good time, but it wasn't cheap, you know. And
Hmm.
affordability matters to me. And I found, for the bang for your buck, our county fair to me did a really, really good job. But okay, I could see Sawdust Days making a comeback. Well, okay, Kosh listeners, you heard that out there. I don't know if that's a possible thing or if anything that's ever planned, but somebody right here is missing the Sawdust Day festivals. So I'd like to hear if that's even a conversation of possibly coming back. So okay, next segment, the naughty slash heroes corner. So this is your opportunity to nominate somebody to the naughty or the heroes corner. It doesn't have to be an individual. It could be anything you want it to be. Organization. It could be a thing. It could be, it could be whatever. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got this. Heroes Corner. I am going to nominate Project Success.
okay. And can you elaborate on what is Project Success for the Kosh listeners?
Sure. Project Success is a department on campus. We help students with neurodiversity achieve their goals and excel in academics and beyond.
Okay, you going if I didn't know nothing, you just did not help me understand the things.
Nothing. Okay.
Nothing.
So, Project Success, we specialize in helping those with neurodiversity, and we help individuals that have difficulty with language. Because, language doesn't make a lot of sense when it comes right down to it, right?
It's confusing at times, for sure.
Yeah. You served in the Army.
Even when you speak it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You served, right? So, like colonel, for example, a colonel in the Army. Do you know how to spell it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Colo, like it's a French colonel, like, so it doesn't even sound like it's spelled. So yeah, our language is confusing. And anyways, I work with students that um, that's not their forte. And so I help them to figure out how to um, accommodate, and also I can help them remediate those reading deficiencies too.
I'm going to expand just a little bit about the program just because I know a little bit about it. I'm not going to pretend like I know a lot of bit about it, but the one thing I know about it in particular, if people out there in the Kosh didn't know, this is a one of a kind program inside of the university. There's not a lot of other universities that have anything like this, if any, in Wisconsin. I think this is the only one like this in Wisconsin, if I'm correct. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of recognition that comes with this because it provides an avenue for those who might not have a pathway to maneuver through this thing they call college, and it allows them to actually to get in, maneuver through, finish, and then take those skills that they learned and excel in their personal and professional lives.
Thank you. You did a much better job at conceptualizing that. I'm in it, so it's hard for me to step outside. But yeah, no, our department's been around for just over 50 years. Um,
Wow, that's crazy.
Bruh.
50
yeah,
years?
and we're one of the first departments to help those with um, reading disabilities.
And okay, well, I think there's some applause that are well deserved there for project success. And
Thanks. Yeah,
there's
we just won a Regents Award, and yeah, it's a good feeling to work with some people who are so passionate and dedicated, and we know that the work we do, we can see, the students we work with blossom. I don't know. I guess that's kind of a cheesy term, but yeah, it's amazing to be able to be in this role and walk alongside of these students during this time in their life and help them to live the life that they had um, dreamed of. A lot of the students I work with never even thought that they would get through grade school, much less college. And so some, just realizing, hey, you know what, maybe it's not that I have a problem learning. Maybe it's a problem with how the school system has taught me. Maybe there's different avenues to go about it. But anyways, I'm going down a different path. So.
all right, fair enough. All right, so it is that time, and it is time for the topic of the week. As you Kosh listeners know, the topic of the week is always chosen by the guests themselves. So the topic of the week is photography. So Sherry, please share with us what's going on with photography.
Okay, in all fairness, I gave you 6 terms. Like, you're like, what do you want to focus on? I'm like, I don't know, you pick. So you wanted me to focus on the photography. And it is something that um, I've explored more in the last couple years. I have always liked taking pictures. It's something you used to razz me about for having my camera everywhere. But I never thought about doing it professionally until a couple years ago when a friend of mine that we used to hang out with we actually had a scheduling mishap. I was supposed to hang out with her one weekend, and she's like, oh no, I'm going to be in LA doing a photo shoot, but you want to come with me? And from there, I went, and she just threw a camera in my hand, and from there that grew. And I really love the idea of capturing, memories and happy times, and yeah, and like you said, smiles, they're contagious. So as I'm sitting here editing these photos, oftentimes I catch myself with a big smile on my face because I'm editing smiles. So it's not a bad gig.
Well, you said that this was something that that a friend kind of turned you on to, or at least grew in you a little bit, and it grew into something. So what did it grow into?
Yeah. So when the pandemic started, then a couple people reached out to me and like, hey, can you take my family photos? Can you take my senior photos? I'm like, well, I better figure out what I'm really doing. I better learn the rules to this. So I was kind of teaching myself more about photography. And then I also, when I did the photo shoot for my cousin, I ended up falling backwards into like these burrs. I probably had 1,000 burrs all over myself. I've never seen so many, and they were really small ones. I thought I'd have to shave my hair off. But that's another story altogether. But as I was falling backwards, I caught some of the best, most real smiles and laughter. And, that just really sold me on it. And so from there, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Why not? I had a couple students I was working with that I'm coaching them to, you can achieve your dreams, and, just so I'm like, why? I got to take my own advice and try this thing. And I turned it into an actual business. So DreamLIT Studios became a thing over the pandemic. And not only is it successful, but I just got a phone call a couple days ago where I'm going to be shooting a wedding this Saturday, kind of a last minute to help someone out, but it's at the Fitzer. And so I'm excited to shoot that wedding because it's at a really nice venue, and it's a haunted venue.
Oh, yeah. Look, I done had a ghost hunter on here, and the one thing
I know,
that everybody understands,
I listened to that one.
I don't mess around. I don't mess around with supernaturals. We leave them be.
I'm excited actually because so my friend Lottie, who got me into photography, she shot there once, and she said that she felt like she was being messed with, and her equipment actually locked up. Like she had to call another photographer to have a new camera brought in because all of her cameras had locked up, which never happens. So yeah, it'll be interesting this Saturday to see how that goes. Well, and I'm shooting with someone I haven't even met before. So
I'm hoping you brought a spare camera in case your camera lock up.
Oh yeah, yep, we'll have plenty.
Okay, so tell me more. What kind of, every photographer has their specialties or what they like to shoot. So, DreamLIT Studios. What do you like to shoot?
What do I like to shoot?
What is your specialty? Talk to the Kosh listeners.
Sure. Yeah, no, I love shooting families, seniors, events to capture those special moments. I didn't think that I was really going to go into wedding photography, but it seems like I'm being pulled that way. So
I would think that would be hot right now, especially after the pandemic. Like people probably put their weddings on hold. I'm thinking, like, I would think that being a wedding photographer would be.
Yep. That's not really an area that I was thinking about pursuing, but it's where I'm being led to right now, just because there's so many people now that the floodgates have opened. Yeah. It's going to be in high demand. So I'm not even sure how much of my summer I'm going to have. I might be shooting a lot of weddings.
Oh yeah, because that
So.
I'm gonna guess that kind of consumes a whole weekend or whenever those.
Yeah. So like the wedding I'll do Saturday. That's from 11:30 to 8:30. But then there's the driving and weddings are just, there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of it's a busy day.
So when people are doing getting ready to do a photo shoot with you or maybe any photographer, but let's talk you. What do you need to do to prep? Like what's the things? Because I see pictures and stuff and like they look amazing, but I know like anything that looks amazing, there's things that go into the process beforehand. So
yep. So one of the things I love about photography, so as you know, I love words and I love teaching like language, right? Photography actually means writing with light. Graph is write and photo is light. So writing with light. Photography is all about capturing the right light. And so really, as far as prepping for a photo shoot, it's just making sure that the lighting is right, but more so that the environment is right. So I want to capture real smiles and real memories and real fun. So I'm not the type of photographer that's like, okay, smile, like we go on a journey. We have fun together. We play together. We do whatever it is. And it's an experience. And then I take pictures along the way. So, for example, if I do a photo shoot with a family, I might have silly string together or bubbles or whatever. If I'm doing a photo shoot with UWO college grads, they're welcome to bring champagne and,
wait, did you just say there's drinking on the photo shoot?
Well, yeah, if you're of age. Yeah, in fact, like the engagement shoots I've done, they usually those pictures turn out better after they crack that bottle typically. But no, it's really just about having a good time and yeah, I mean, you got to do a little bit of planning as far as the outfit and such, but
now that is actually something I'd be like, there's got to be planning for the outfit. Like, what is it? What do you think of? Like, I always hear things about the colors, skin tone. That you don't want to do this.
You know what, Timber? The thing that has shocked me the most over this year is, so with photography, the first thing you do is you have to adjust for skin color, right? Get the skin color right. And it's called finding the white balance. I have never in my life thought that I would focus so much on skin color. Like, it was so ironic. But yeah, I don't know. We can talk more about that before your photo shoot for sure, as far as style. And I definitely want you hooked up in a bow tie for at least one of them.
Well, these things will happen. Yes, that's right. So we are definitely, there is a photo shoot from DreamLIT Studios in Timber's future for me and the family.
Yay. I'm so excited to see Teresa again and meet Boo. I have never even met her.
Well,
isn't that crazy?
Well, she grown now. There will be an opportunity at this family photo shoot. So, all right. Well, what I will say is I will in the podcast notes be sure to put information about DreamLIT Studios, and when the time comes and we actually get these family photos handled, I will also put a few of them out there so the people can see your great work. But in the meantime, if people are looking for a photographer, how do they reach out? How do they get in touch with you? What's the contact info? How do we make these things work?
Well, you can email me at dreamlitstudios@gmail.org.
And that's just spelled Dream and Lit, LIT.
Yep.
Okay.
Studios.
Got it.
Or you can connect with you, and you have my contact info. But yeah.
Okay.
So.
Good deal. All right. Well, it's we're gonna start wrapping things up here. Once again, to the Kosh listeners, what I want to say is thank you all. Thank you for listening. We're hitting some really good milestones as far as the number of listeners, people listening to the episodes. I appreciate y'all out there in the Kosh. I appreciate the emails, the ideas. I've got the great thing right now is that I've got people who are contacting and saying, hey, I would like an opportunity to be on the Kosh, and that's what I need. I want it to be as organic as possible, so that is fantastic. So huge shout out to the Kosh listeners out there. Appreciate y'all all. Once again, if you've got any questions, if you got any comments, we are always in a place of growth. Please feel free to email me at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. Since our photographer Sherry here has mentioned it, you can also email askthekosh@gmail.com. And if you are looking for Sherry to ask any photography questions, schedule a session or anything as such, I will definitely pass it on to her. But we will also put the contact information in our podcast notes. All right. And you know what time it is. It is my favorite time of the podcast. And that is shout out time. I hope you got some shout outs ready.
Oh, shoot. I'm like thinking we're out.
Look, I'm gonna be
okay, I do. I got shout outs.
Okay.
Yep. Like you said, there's been heroes.
Yeah. Let's hear these shout outs. Who we shouting out?
Yep. Well, I'm gonna shout out to my girl, Lottie Lillian. She's been a great friend since '94. And we've been friends for seems like forever, sisters almost. But yeah, she's really helped me out this year with photography and just making sure that my mental health has been good, and knowing that I've with my 3 kids, and yeah, I really appreciate you if you're listening. But another shout out would be to you, Timber. Like, you have been there for me through thick and thin. And yeah, I would not be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for you and your friendship. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, Sherry. And let me just say, me and Sherry have this thing where I call each other twins, because throughout our very lengthy friendship, we have done a lot of the same things around the same times, and if not shortly after. And for some reason, it's just our worlds just kind of I don't even know what to call that. It just kind of matches up for some reason. But what it does give us an opportunity is for one of us to go through it, and the other hopefully learns from the other's mistakes.
Right. Or just relive them.
Yes, whatever happens. Okay. Well, shout out.
Hey, that's going to be that's going to be our next. We never got to the topic about can men and women be friends.
Look, I didn't know that was going to be a topic, but that what we will do is that will have to be its own episode, because I do think that is its own episode. That's a lengthy
For sure.
one, right? I might have to
Yes.
have a special episode for that where we bring in a couple of people and have that conversation, because I think that has to be multiple people having that conversation.
I agree. That could be a fun conversation.
Yes, because I think there's multiple perspectives on that. All right, I'm going to put that out to the Kosh listeners. If you would like to have that episode, please, I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know. And if you would be interested in being part of that episode, I would also be interested in hearing from you and hearing what your thoughts are. So, can men and women be friends? All right. Now, my shout outs. I'm going to give some special shout outs to, this. If you know me, there's a thing that I like to do annually. I go on a field trip to Dubuque, Iowa, and go hit the dog races. And I recently got an opportunity to go do that. So shout out to my brother and sister-in-law, the Weisses. Once again, our annual trip was fantastic, amazing. We did better than we usually do, that's for sure, because I came home with money. So that's always a better way to come home than coming home broke. So that's one thing. And then the other thing, in a special shout out to the Pelkeys, Don and Liz. Hey, they came along on the trip this year. Hey, it was a good time. Appreciate you. And another shout out to Q Casino and the dog track, because you know what? Once again, I won money. Y'all didn't take everything I got. I came home with a shirt on my back. I ate good, felt good. That was a great way to come out of the pandemic and have a little vacation time. And to African Heritage Inc. Shout out to you for your COVID campaign that you were doing to get the shot. That is huge in the community. We need that out there. You've been doing an excellent job. Just want to know we see you. We appreciate you and what you're doing, and for helping to sponsor for what is coming up this coming in a couple of weeks, the Juneteenth celebration in Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm looking forward to coming to actually going to go check that out. All right, so last segment, words of wisdom. What are your parting words of wisdom, Sherry? What do you got for the Kosh listeners?
Always be gracious and forgiving of yourself and others.
All right. I don't think it gets any simpler than that. Once again, thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Kosh. Appreciate y'all out there. The Kosh.